YouTube channel for people that can't make it today. The kind of audience that we're aiming at sometimes maybe, just can't attend events whenever other people can, they may have young children or whatever. So if you don't want to be in the recording, feel free to switch off your camera at any point, that's fine. I'm going to be reading from my notes because when I don't do that, I just ramble and I don't want to do that. I'm very conscious that I wanted to be succinct what I'm saying. So I'll just take a moment to thank Peter from Imagine Festival Belfast. He supported us in achieving this project and he accessed funding on our behalf from the Arts Council Northern Ireland and the Department for Communities. And we wouldn't have been able to do these sessions without him, basically. So just a few things about the chat. I'm going to present for a while. She's the bouncer on the Zoom, so she'll be monitoring the chat and just letting people in and out. If you have a question to ask, you can put it in the chat, but if you would put question beforehand, then we'll know that's a question. It'll be easier for Kathy to find any questions that you might have. So yeah, I'm going to be presenting to you the background of Second Collective, how the organisation came about, the activities that we've been involved in to date, and our most recent project with the artist Marta Dichkowska, who's here today in the session. And we might hear something from Marta a bit later on as well, so looking forward to that. We're also going to talk to you a bit about our plans for the future, but we're also really happy for you as participants to tell us the kind of things that would help you develop your art practice or opportunities that you think would be beneficial to you. I'm going to be showing you images of some of the things that we've done over the past few years. And I'll be talking to you about what we've learned over that period of time. And I think if Kathy feels like she needs to chip into the conversation, she'll do that. So I think I'll just begin by sharing my screen with you, which hopefully will be easy. There we go. Okay, so this is our logo so here we are, just in case you haven't got enough of us. Kathy's on the left and I'm on the right, obviously. Kathy and I met at Belfast School of Art. We both were studying our BA in Fine Art in 2015 just. So Kathy started printmaking and I was studying sculpture lens. In the second year of our undergraduate programme, Kathy became involved in the university's Arts and Culture Society and along with Marta, who's here, organised and curated 2 exhibitions for students. And these took place in the engine room. I exhibited in those exhibitions and had maybe a bit of a small part in helping organise it. I'm just going to show you what the space was like when we got it. The first exhibition, this is the old engine room gallery. So anybody who knows engine room, this is at the side of City Hall and it was an office building due to be demolished. So this was the kind of space that they were offered. And the effort that Kathy and Marta put in to transform that space was actually unbelievable. They had support from, a few other people, but the vast majority of the hard graft and decisions like lifting those horrible tiles, they lifted that floor covering, and that was just a mammoth effort. How they did it, I'll never know. I'm just going to show you how it looked when it was transformed. We do have loads of other photographs, but I'm not going to show you all them. So this was students' work that was exhibited and curated by Kathy and Marta. I suppose this was the beginning of all of our understanding at that time of how the art sector works in Belfast. Cliff from the engine room was so supportive of us. And through conversations that Kathy and I both had with him on an individual basis, he gave us a real understanding of how you can access these unused spaces in the city centre. And that's what he does. So the space was going to be demolished and Cliff took it on. He gets to use the space rent-free and then he creates his exhibitions in it and sells the work then. So this kind of coincided, this whole idea of Kathy becoming involved in that coincided with thoughts that I was already having myself about how I could kind of provide opportunities for other people. I'd always been interested in that curation side, but I was starting to see that there was a way maybe that you could curate and even create those opportunities for other people. So following an exhibition that my university group had in Catalyst at the end of our second year, I'd sort of helped to organise the practical elements of that with Brenna Meehan, who set up another collective actually in the north. And Kathy had mentioned to me that she had an idea for an exhibition. So, I mean, immediately I was excited. Kathy, her idea was to have a group exhibition where artists responded to the seminal text, The Second Sex by Simone de Beauvoir. And I remember just feeling so excited that Kathy had this idea, because for me, like, I had wanted to create the exhibitions for others, but I really wasn't in a space to kind of think of the ideas or the themes that people could respond to. And I wasn't really sure what was the best way to do that. So feeling really enthusiastic about this from the start. It was just coming up to our summer break from uni, and Kathy and I continued to stay in touch, and we met up regularly. We communicated online, and we kind of had lots of discussions about how we were going to achieve this. And I feel like it's just summed into one line here, but it really was so much effort. Like, it is hard work, but it definitely felt worth doing for us. Like, and there was a lot of like searching for venues and things like that, and all we had really was the idea and potential artists who would be involved in it. So after a chance tip off, and I think I'm right in saying that Kathy's sister Kira had been walking through Smithfield, and she had seen this unit to let. And after Kathy's numerous attempts at contacting Belfast City Council, we actually were able to secure this unit as a space to have our exhibition. We just thought it was it's an unusual space, but it's really lovely as well in so many ways. It's got lovely light coming into it. And I suppose I should say at this point, we had created a proposal for the exhibition. And I laughed at this because I think I don't think I'd like to look at it now, because I'd probably be mortified at how basic it was. But we submitted that to Culture Night 2017, and we did this even though the submission date had passed, and they accepted our proposal. And it's all kind of that, it's all those kind of opportunities. I suppose it's like a learning curve. You just have to take those chances, I think, and not be afraid that you're not an expert and you don't really know. You just have to learn as you're going. So we secured that space, and we showed the work at Culture Night in 2017. Sorry. This is a flyer that we had for the first part of the exhibition. So it was a 2-part exhibition that turned out to be. Part of it took place in Smithfield, and the other part was in Cotton Court Gallery, both on the same night of Culture Night, of course. When we applied to Culture Night, we told them that we would probably need a venue, but we kept like looking for one ourselves. And I think there was a bit of like miscommunication or something. I think there was some kind of information that came from them that suggested they might not be able to get us a venue. So we started thinking about all sorts of things, like, should we do it outside, or, what will the weather be like, and just various things that we needed to do. But anyway, when we got the Smithfield one, we sort of had a bit of I suppose like a relaxation. We thought, well, we've got a venue, we'll be fine now, we can get this done. But about a week prior to Culture Night, we were contacted by the team there, and they said to us, oh yeah, we've got this space, you want to use this Cotton Court Gallery? So at that stage then, after having no venues to show in, we suddenly had 2. But this actually, it really was a saving grace, I think, because some of the work, you might be able to see it in some of the photographs I'm going to show you, some of the work was very large scale. Some of our people worked really quite big, and the Smithfield venue was perfect for that. And the Cotton Court Gallery is a bit more like your white box type gallery, and really suited some of the more delicate pieces that we had on show as well. So I'm going to show you some of the shots that we have of the exhibition, with plenty of people there. Some people might even recognize themselves if they're listening today or watching. Yeah, something we learned the hard way. Despite all of our tutors constantly telling us, make sure you document everything, was that when you've organized and curated an exhibition of your own, the last thing that you're able to really do properly is to document that successfully. So we have loads of photographs, but hardly any that you would actually use, I suppose, in a proposal or to show anybody as evidence, but I mean, I think these are quite good because they show plenty of crowds and that. We've got loads of individual pieces of work which are no good to us, really, So it was always our intention to have another exhibition in which the artists who had exhibited in this work would get paired up with another artist just randomly, and they would make a piece of work responding to the original piece that had been inspired by the second sex. But in, you know, the time that took and the effort that took for us was quite a lot. And we sort of had to put that on hold for a bit. We were kind of going into we were both in our final year of our degree. And obviously, you know, that's a big commitment. We didn't really want to have that added pressure of trying to do your degree show, which is a massive thing. And then be involved in curating another exhibition, and also putting pressure on people to create that work for another show. It's quite a lot to ask of people. So we didn't do that. Instead, we started this, which you can see in the image here, is from actually Culture Night in the following year, 2018. So we applied again, but not to do an exhibition this time. Just as I've said about the sheer effort that's involved in that, it just wasn't feasible really. So we did these kind of outside sessions where people would come and they could make like collages. So we had all the supplies there for them. We had a massive mirror and they could draw on this. So we had like a big long roll of paper, and each person could add their own drawing onto it. And it was actually really nice. People really got engaged with it. This actually particular event, we have quite a few photographs of this, and I mean almost too many to show, you know, where people are just getting drawing, taking photographs of themselves doing it and all, you know. And it was really a really good opportunity to have, I suppose, art in the public domain, which is like really interesting to both of us, I think. So during these sessions, we got into a chance conversation with the teacher, and after chatting to her, and she kind of explained to us the difficulties she had with getting kids to engage with art, and maybe, you know, not having many materials or not being able to ask parents for things, or ask them even for money or anything like that. So we very, bizarrely offered to do this for her. I mean, we really loved doing it. It was honestly such a brilliant experience. And we really saw this as an opportunity for us to show really young kids that art isn't really all just about hyper-realistic paintings, and many people who live and work as artists never even pick up a paintbrush, and I class myself in that. It was a brilliant but really busy 6 weeks, and at the end of it we had an exhibition with the class, and their work was put up and their parents came to see, and we had so many positive experiences out of that. The class was, the school was Nettlefield Primary School, which is in inner city East Belfast. It has a really diverse community, and there were kids there who had like extreme behavioural issues and had a lot of issues engaging with schoolwork basically. And we both noticed that they benefited so much from doing the art activity, and in that free way, you know, where it's not constructed and the outcome is a group outcome and everybody doesn't have to be perfect. And it was really such a great thing for us. And obviously then I myself went on to do that work with kids, not necessarily in inner city schools, but doing workshops and things like that. But just prior to us doing that Culture Night session, we had both been offered studio places at Fault Artist Studios, which was just setting up in the Tower Street building. And this really for us has been the most amazing experience. We became part of a community there that supports us in really all sorts of ways. Apart from the building itself, if any of you have ever been, it's a huge building. It's like a former technical college, so it just looks like what a technical college would look like, but it's just full of artists now. So it's pretty huge. It's got all sorts of things. It's got like dance rooms. It's got a theater. It's got a massive kitchen. One of the artists is based in a kitchen, you know. And as well as that, it has over 115 members, and they're from all different disciplines. So there's a wide range of visual artists. They would make up the bulk, I think, of the members, working in all mediums that have painters, printers, installation artists, all sorts of crazy things. But there's also musicians, circus performers, comedians, actors, and a whole range of other things. Being part of that community has really helped us both to grow as individual people and to grow the organisation of Second Collective. We've had the chance to participate in so many exciting things. I'm currently one of the trustees on the board of Vault Artist Studios, which gives you real insight to the running workings of an organisation. Kathy has organised some of the really successful events that have happened there, and if you haven't been to any of them, you really should come because there's such good crack. So there's been Fringe Festival and Christmas Market, and Kathy's had a real significant part in organising those over the last few years. So because of our access to space at Vault, it seemed the obvious choice for us to have our second part of our second exhibition. So second plays a big part in everything we do. The gallery at that time was pink, and I'm going to show you some pictures of it. It was the perfect venue for us. And these are just some install shots of the first night, the opening night, where we showed the original artworks alongside the new artworks that the people had made inspired by the first one. So it took us quite a while to hold that second exhibition. I think it was in December 2018. So over a year, like maybe 14, 15 months later. And that really highlighted to us the level of effort that was required to achieve these sort of activities and to continue to do these kind of because this was totally self-funded. So any costs were met by Kathy himself. And that's not really sustainable. It's not really sustainable for artists to keep working for free and not get paid. And it's not sustainable for us to curate and organize exhibitions for free. Because there's no real payout in it, and they're also the types of work that people that we kind of know make. They're not very sellable, really. They're just art to be exhibited, really. So there's just another couple then. So in our time at Vault, we've sort of continued to be involved in curating other shows. This is one of the member shows that happened at Vault. So quite often there isn't exhibitions there because it's not really an open studio that people can come into, and it wouldn't be a gallery space necessarily that people can just visit as they wish. That it doesn't really work like that. But we're always very keen to have the members work on show in the gallery because we do get a lot of visitors into the building. We have a lot of people that hire our spaces. In the old days would have hired spaces for various things, and it's just an opportunity for people to get their work to be seen, I suppose. And it also brightens up the place. It looks lovely when you come in and there's art on the walls. So even though we were always thinking about how we could continue working as Second Collective and we had ideas, it has been difficult for us to find the time to do this work. I started my MFA at Ulster in 2018, and I've graduated from that now. And Kathy's just recently started her master's in Dublin in September of this past year. And as well as studying, we've also been working and have other commitments outside of art. And that was, I suppose, until November 2020. This was when we decided to make an application to Imagine Festival to curate a solo exhibition and provide a studio residency for Marta Dichkowska. We approached Imagine with a proposal for what we wanted to achieve for Marta. We know Marta quite well, and I don't think she'll mind me telling you that she had to give up her studio at Flax, and she was starting to increase the level of paid work that she was doing outside of the art sector. And this was having an impact on her time to focus on her practice. And I think Kathy and I both thought how terrible this would be because Marta is just an amazing artist, and yeah, I just think that we were both kind of feeling sad by that. I should probably say as well, we had previously made an application to the Arts Council in April 2020 for this same opportunity, but it was rejected. And there was a few reasons for that. Mainly, we hadn't said that we were going to work with Marta, largely because we hadn't actually told Marta that we wanted to work with her, and we kind of thought this was just an idea and we didn't necessarily know if she would do it. The turnaround for the application form was so quick, and we were kind of a bit, lockdown was going on. We didn't know how we could chat to Marta in real life and maybe say to her, did you think this was a possibility? So at that stage, we just put the application in with our own proposal, our own CVs, and kind of, I suppose it was a bit vague now thinking back on it. But the long and short of this is that Imagine Festival supported us. So when Peter got our proposal, which was just for the solo exhibition for Marta, and we emphasised that we had wanted to pay Marta for this. We didn't want it to be something that she did in her own time. So out of the blue, Peter contacted us back and he wanted to meet with us. And he said he was really interested in what we were doing. He was interested in this, the themes that we were exploring. So Imagine Festival, if you don't know, is all about ideas and politics. And it can be, they're not really afraid to address controversial topics, really, although, you know, that wasn't necessarily the case here, but they are quite welcoming of discussion around politics and ideas, especially in the north of Ireland. So it was really great that he contacted us. And then it was even more surprising when he said that he was going to apply to the Arts Council on our behalf. We just thought, oh my God, this is like amazing. He's going to do the application. But of course, we had written the proposal and supplied that to him, and he was pleased with that. He thought that was great, and it was fine. And then, of course, if any of you working in the arts sector will know that the funding has been sporadic and it's been strange the way it has been allocated. But nevertheless, we still were in a situation where we thought it's coming up to, you know, the middle of February. Imagine Festival's at the end of March. So there's really only a month. If the funding comes through, there's like a month to create this work. That didn't really affect the project that Marta was doing because she was still working on that, and we had confirmed with her that she would be paid, she would get her studio residency, and that would all be fine. But I suppose this element, the bigger project around it, was that we intended to have, we would have liked these sessions to be in person, and I know that seems hard to believe now, but in November that was a real possibility. Like, it was actually possible that you might have been able to do things in real life. So we'd envisaged this 2-day event where you know, artists would come, mainly female artists, and probably in the more mature side would come and benefit from hearing people speaking about their practice or about the arts sector in general. There might even be some actual physical workshops that people could get involved in. We kind of thought about all sorts of things like childcare, because a lot of the time we're targeting people who have maybe childcare issues. So we were thinking, well, we could pay some people to do workshops with us, and the kids could be in the next room, so the parents would still be able to enjoy the session. Actually, that just seems so ridiculous now when you think about it. But, you know, through our support from Imagine, they allowed us to take the event online. And yeah, there has been some elements too as well where Marta couldn't benefit. She created the exhibition, but she mainly did the work at home. And for any of you that saw her artist talk, you'll know that, you know, that's the life of the mother artist, making your work at home while your kids are in bed or whatever. So she hasn't really been able to enjoy the residency side of Vault, although she has been there and, you know, spent some time there. But hopefully after Easter, when the kids are back at school, Marta can spend time in the studio with us, making work and enjoying the space. And she created for anybody who's seen the work, Marta created some really thought-provoking video and photographic imagery, and that was installed at Vault and documented by Christy Campbell of Campbell Photography, and that's available still to view on our website, secondcollectivebelfast.com. You can also view the footage that Marta created herself on our YouTube channel, Second Collective Belfast. So all of the footage is still available to view online. And even just having it really in real life was just kind of an amazing opportunity. I think people are so deprived of stimulation that they just really enjoyed seeing Marta's work there. And I don't know whether Marta does want to say anything. I don't want to put her under pressure if she wants to talk about it, but she could come in and speak about this if she wants to. Do you want to unmute yourself, Marta? Hi.
Hello. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And it's such a great presentation, and took me on the memory lane. It was so nice to see the engine room and so on. So yeah, really nice. But while he was talking, the point I wanted to make, because obviously you and Kathy went on to curating, and I think it's important because, you know, I kind of stopped, and I think it's important because some people can do that and some people can't. I mean, I could, but maybe that wasn't the avenue that I would like to take on. So it's great that you remembered me. And yeah, I really enjoyed being involved in this project. Really grateful to you, Kathy, and Imagine Festival, because yeah, I will continue work. Maybe I wouldn't if I haven't been part of it, and it was paid work, which is always a bonus, isn't it?
Mm.
And it was funny, I was telling you, because I'm a bit of a scatterbrain, you know, with kids and all that. So I didn't realize the scale of the project when I say yes. I was like, oh,
No, I do actually remember you saying, I didn't actually know that I was going to have to do this. So I thought that was quite funny.
Yeah, I didn't realize the scale of Imagine Festival. And then when I heard Chomsky and all that, I was like, Jesus, what did I let myself into? But no.
But what a great platform, Marta. What a great platform to show your work, you know, and for people to see.
I know, right?
You know, yeah, definitely.
Completely oblivious.
Definitely. We loved working with you, and we thought it was a really great experience for us. And obviously we do know you personally outside, so that perhaps it's easier, but it's also maybe a bit harder in some ways as well, you know, because I don't know, maybe if it was somebody we hadn't known, there would be a different dynamic or something, you know. I think we always knew when to step in, you know, and kind of, I think, I mean, I hope I'm right in saying that. I think we always kind of could read the situation because we know your circumstances.
Yes, no, totally right. And I think it was reassuring to work with people that know me because of my like constant anxiety and imposter syndrome. So I was actually talking to Jane, I think she's here, and I was saying when I had my doubts, and I was like, why me? The work is gonna be awful. And you Sinead were like, yeah, because we went and picked the awfulest artist there is.
Yeah, we thought that would be a great show. The worst artists we can think of. Work for them.
Yeah. So no, it was great. It was reassuring, and also that you know that I've got kids, and that was encouraging. That sometimes maybe when I couldn't do things, you were really reassuring. Everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna work out. So I think I needed that mothering, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's that community thing, though, isn't it? It's just being. It's the community that you need. You know, I think about this quite a lot. You know, art. It's not really made in isolation. You need people. You can make it in isolation, of course, but I think you do need reassurance from other people and just be inspired by other people and to get confidence from being around a group.
No, totally, because I'm like a free floater, you know, I go here and there, flags, vault and so on. And I enjoy that, but it's nice to have that kind of, support. Yeah.
It's hard to know how you do that. Yeah, it's hard to know how you do that.
Support and encouragement. And it's hard when you are, you know, single parent with 2 kids, you know, sometimes it can feel, you know, alienating, if you know what I mean. So I'm really grateful for that opportunity. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
It's great to have you.
And hopefully we can, and I'm gonna enjoy the studio from Monday. Yeah.
Get those kids back to school, please.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
This is enough. Mothers have had enough of this. Yeah. Marta, that was great. Thank you so much. Thanks for speaking. So anyway, just obviously these are a few shots that we have of the install in vault of Marta's work. So we'd obviously with these TVs and the frame kindly lent to us by Robin Price, and with Marta's work we were able to create this installation, which looks great, I think. And also then this giant projection screen, which had 2 films running on it. It's one film, but it looks like 2 separate pieces. And then we had another piece just projected onto the wall with some photographic stills there. And I think this is when we kind of really feel this element of funding has really allowed us to up our game in terms of what we're delivering. So we were able to pay a professional photographer, as I mentioned before, Christy Campbell, and she documented the exhibition for us in a way that we instantly knew we could not have done that ourselves. I mean, we can both take photographs. We know we have a creative eye. We know how to take a photograph, but you need professional documentation for your work, just in terms of showing it to other people. So that was definitely something that was worth paying for, and thankfully with the funding we were able to do that. We also were able to set up officially as an organization. So we created our website, which it's not like the most expensive website or anything, but we're able to pay for that professional status, which allows us to do different elements, different things with our website. And we were also able to provide Marta with professional documentation of the show, which she then is able to use going forward, you know, for her own website, or, you know, applications that she's going for, really. When we made the application, I suppose, I think I've talked about this already, actually, about how we'd envisaged it being in real life. But the fact that then we've been able to go on, we've been able to pay Marta, we've been able to pay ourselves, we've been able to pay for photographer, who is also a female artist, and the 6 speakers that we have on arts professionals that we have, we're paying them for their time to speak as well. And I think that's something that we really resonate with, this this idea of creating paid opportunities and stopping this idea that artists should be working for free. We do have a particular focus on artists that are in the emerging stages of their art careers and who face barriers to opportunities because they're a bit older, or they have other current commitments that prevent them from accessing opportunities. They may have responsibility for children, or even some people, you know, that I can think of off the top of my head, they have older relatives, or they may be just committed to working in another job outside of the art sector. And all of these things take you away from, you know, there are the things that you do. You have to compartmentalize your life, where this is your job that you do, and then you do art in a different time whenever you can squeeze that in. And the main interest that we have is creating a community of female artists that support each other in a range of ways. And we'd really kind of love to discuss with people what that might look like. We have lots of ideas ourselves. Maybe I have some of them here, I think, on the slide. You know, we think about things all the time, and we have these discussions about what is possible, but we really want to know what people need. You know, it's all well and good us saying we can do a residency, but maybe that doesn't suit someone. Maybe someone doesn't want to make work as well. Maybe they don't want to have an exhibition. Maybe they don't want the pressure of that. Maybe they just want time to do a bit of research or whatever, you know. But we definitely see it as a multi-dimensional kind of thing that we're trying to do. So we do have all of these things on board. So the mentoring and support thing, I mean, that sounds like, oh my God, that sounds so intense or something, but it isn't really like that. It's just, you know, being able to reassure people when they're making work or they're doing things that they're not alone, you know, and that maybe we may have, it's kind of like that thing where you have at university where you make a piece of work and then someone gives you a bit of a tip or a, you know, a research, something that you can research yourself, but, you know, kind of providing that outside of the university setting, really, and outside of academic setting. And we'd really like to do those things. But I mean, the practical advice and the funding element, I've kind of done that just casually by myself anyway, you know, and I know Kathy would have as well. Like we're not wanting to restrict the information that we know. We actually want to share that with people. We want everybody to be able to do these things. I think that's a really strong, communities is the main thing. I think the more people that are united in their aims, whether their aims are exactly the same doesn't really come into it, you know. So we are going to continue to apply for funding to help us realize other possibilities going forward. And these are just some of the ideas that we've been thinking about. We just really want to hear what other people are interested in. And that doesn't have to be here today now, you know, that can be something that you can contact us. You know, we're always available. Our website is up and running. We've got a mailing list on there, and we would really encourage people to sign up for that, because we kind of envisage that when we have our mailing list, that's where our opportunities will become available when we, you know, figure those out and we get funding for them. So we'd really encourage people to do that on our website. You can contact us. We have an Instagram page as well, and also a Facebook page, but don't ask me anything about Facebook. I really don't know how it works. I know you can like the page, and that's about as far as it goes for me. But feel free to contact us in anywhere where you see our details. So we're secondcollectivebelfast.com. Most of our Instagram, Second Collective Belfast, our website is that as well. What else was I going to say? Yeah, if you go on our website as well, you can see we'd have like a mission statement and kind of things that we're thinking about, what our aims are, what we're trying to achieve. And we'd love people to get in touch with us, and happy, to talk about things now or at a later date. So feel free to get in touch with us. And I just want to highlight, because I was going to do this at the very end, but I'm afraid that I'll forget. So our program for the rest of today is that once this session is finished, we'll have a break, and then at 2 p.m. we'll hear from Angelica Network. So that's Moran Bean Noon and Jane Morrow are going to speak to us about various things, but we asked them as part of Angelica Network, which has been set up to promote diversity, I suppose, in artists, and to allow those artist practice to be visible. Anybody who wants to join, I should say, I'm pretty certain you can use the link that's already been sent out to you. So the links, I think, are all the same, and the passwords are all the same, I'm pretty sure. But if you have any problems, just go back on to Eventbrite and book into them. You can still book the tickets up until, I suppose, 3 o'clock on Saturday. You'll still be able to book tickets. And then tomorrow at 12 o'clock, we'll have Amna Waliat and Jane Cherry. Amna is an artist, and she is also a founder of the Ireland-Pakistan Arts Exchange, which is a really interesting organisation, and can't wait to hear all the exciting things that they're going to talk about. Jane is currently working we're going to see her video that she's made in conjunction with Alison Lowry, which is a really moving piece of work, and she's also going to talk a bit about her practice. And then at 2 p.m. we're going to have Sally O'Dowd, who is another Vault Artist Studio resident, but also the founding creative director of Town Hall Cavan. She's an artist and sometime curator as well. And Samantha Brown is also going to talk to us about her practice. She's currently working with the Centre for Creative Practice in Ireland in collaboration with a jazz musician, and has made a lovely piece of work as well. All around identity and things like that. So the works and the chats are going to be amazing. Kathleen and I have already met with all of the participants, and we just know it's going to be such a great session. So please feel free to come back and join us at any time. And I think probably we're going to see if there's any questions. Have we got any questions?
No questions in the chat.
Oh, stop. No. What am I doing? Am I okay there?
Yeah.
Cool. What's next, Marta? Apply for more funding is the next thing. Do this. We've sort of been looking at opportunities for funding and different things like that. We've had a business plan done by the Go For It program, which has been brilliant. We're probably going to go on to do another program with them called Kickstart, which they're going to give us money, free money. So we always like free money, so we'll be taking that. And we're definitely going to look. We've got a few ideas of kind of funding that we're going towards. We'd like to kind of like take what we learnt from doing the work with you, and obviously from doing this, and seeing what kind of things work best. Our main thing is to get money to artists, so whatever way we can do that, we're going to do it. Amna, did you want to ask a question?
Yeah, I would like to ask about, like, your focus area is UK, or you are Belfast or Ireland even? I just wanted to know you want to entertain the artist and
we'll go as far and wide as we can. Amna, that's but obviously we don't want to do that too quickly because we're really not sure. But we have contacts. We've a few contacts in Australia. We've contacts in Switzerland. Obviously doing this, we've got contacts across the island of Ireland now. which we probably wouldn't have really had beforehand. What else we've got? We do know quite a few people like across Europe, basically. But yeah, we definitely see something in that, like extending beyond the island of Ireland. I think that's kind of why we were so interested in that Ireland-Pakistan exchange program. This is something that Amna herself has set up, and I attended a talk about this, and it was just so great. I think just to find out those opportunities are there, and the histories of Pakistan and Ireland, you know, I was so baffled, but it seems so obvious when you think about it, the colonization of both those countries and the impact that has had. There's a definite clear connection between those two countries. So I definitely think we're definitely keen to do kind of as far as we can go, we'll do it. Isn't that right, Kathy?
Yeah, and I was just going to say, I think that's kind of one of the better kind of sides of this pandemic has kind of made us realize how, you know, you can create kind of residencies that aren't physical. You know, we've been discussing loads about how we might be able to create opportunities for people that can't actually physically get to us. And that's something that we're going to be trying to work on kind of going into the future.
No. Just nice comments I'm reading.
Another.
Oh yeah, Sean saying an online residency would be good. Yeah, yeah. I kind of do. I'm doing something with Catalyst, and it's not really an online residency, but they funded me to do research and development, and it's just unbelievable. Like, it's the opportunity to spend time doing something that you want to do and actually know that you can afford to do it is great.
Una's asked there, have you plans for networking or communication, which I think many of us would appreciate during lockdown? Yeah, this is something that we've been discussing a lot as well. As Sinead said during the talk, we've been talking about setting this up kind of in a real way for a long time, and then the funding that we got through Imagine basically kick-started us, and we were, you know, kind of caught up in that, in Imagine and kind of Marta's exhibition and things like that. And as this has been coming to the, you know, that's been coming to the end, we've been really kind of having loads of discussions about how we might, you know, how we're going to move this forward. And you know, community is definitely one of the big things that we want to create. And I think we just need to figure out how to do it. You know, we're probably going to put together like questionnaires or maybe focus groups and things, and basically ask people what they need, because what we think people need might necessarily be what they actually need, you know. So we want this, you know, Sinead mentioned it in the talk as well, this is very driven by the people that we're going to work with, you know. So yeah, we will be doing that at some point soon.
And we definitely kind of see it as like, you know, definitely something that is bigger than just this organization, you know, that we are already obviously members of another artist studio, loads of artists are, you know, and I think the more organizations you can get involved with, the better. I really think that helps everybody, and I think it gives artists a bigger voice. I mean, Jane Morrow is like really quite often speaks on behalf of artists, and you know, that's a really powerful thing when you have all that information, all those connections. And I think it's really going to help us going forward, especially in Belfast, because Belfast is a welcoming arts community, I think, in comparison with other places, you know. And I say Belfast, and I know there are people outside in the outskirts and, you know, in country areas and things like that, but I think it's really important for us to be speaking with one voice to people with money and power, really, you know. Yes, Jane, exactly. Start the revolution. Yeah, we're all for that. And we also don't like, I think sometimes there's like a thing, I was thinking about this earlier, this kind of like competition between organizations, but I don't feel that in Belfast, and I don't think it really should exist either, because you're all just supporting each other, you know. I think that's an important part of it. You know, we can offer different facilities to each other and different advice, and I don't think we should be thinking of our arts organizations as in isolation, just the same way as you don't think about your art practice in isolation, or you shouldn't. Do you want to talk, Jane?
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm going to be talking an awful lot in about an hour's time, but I just wanted to say that I completely agree with, like, well, I mean, so many of the points that you've made, Sinead and Kathy. But yeah, this divide and conquer mentality that our funding system seems to have created, you know, where there are very, very limited possibilities available. Yeah, like collective action and everything is the kind of way out of that, and it's much more about sharing resources and sharing knowledge. And yeah, I'm all for that revolution that is hopefully on the cards at some point. Yeah, pitchforks at dawn.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
thank you.
That's something even that Marta, and I know you've now made connection with Marta as well, Jane, but that kind of idea of the loss of cultural spaces and, you know, the impact that that has, I personally do feel very, very positive. I feel like artists will come back in a big way after this. It's just, it's the artist's way to thrive in adversity.
Amna's just asked there if we'd like to talk a bit more about our capacity to offer residencies, how many we're going to offer, when, and other plans we have for that. I think at the minute, basically because we are fund independent, that's going to dictate how many we offer and when we offer them. Ideally, what we're looking to do is have maybe 2 a year, with one potentially an outcome-based residency and the other one maybe more of a research-based type residency. But again, that will be completely dependent on the people that contact us or who we maybe contact. Yeah, we're kind of still figuring that out, but there'll definitely be more than this one.
Yeah, I think that's kind of something that we've thought about, where the whatever work we do, we want it to be tailored to the individual person. It's not like a one size fits all. You know, what worked with us working with Marta won't necessarily work with someone else, and there won't necessarily be the same issues that we come across, and we're really keen to kind of hone that, I suppose. Yeah, Susan's just commenting there that she feels like she's going to step into the abyss after MFA graduation, and feeling like you're in a gap between established artists who've been chugging away for years, their names are recognised, and very young talented artists who are raring to go with less commitments. I know they're broad generalisations, yeah, but support in between that place, vulnerable but exciting and valuable in itself, is great. Yeah, I think that really is right.
And I think that's where those kind of community, you know, that community kind of idea that we're hoping to achieve is really important, you know, and it could be as simple as having an online kind of chat like once a month where everyone can get in touch with each other and kind of, you know, have just kind of support each other in really in varied ways, you know. So yeah, it's definitely something that we're keen to get organized.
Yeah, definitely. And we're definitely open to change and learning from the things that we've done. You know, we started off doing the group exhibitions, and we very quickly realized, I know I probably labored on about that, how hard work it is, but it really is, you know, because you're managing a lot of people and a lot of people's expectations. That is a lot more difficult than working with one artist, who you can really give a lot of time to then. And I think we sort of thought about that. That's not to say we'll never do a group exhibition again, but after doing it, we were like, we can't do that for a while. We can't, that's not really necessarily achieving what we want. And also, how could we afford to pay that? You know, we're not at that stage where we could afford to pay, you know, 10 artists to submit work to a show. So yeah, but it's exciting. I'm just excited, and I'm excited that so many people are interested in it. And yeah, hopefully you'll all get on board and we'll all do great things in the future. I think if no one has any more questions, I think we can finish, but please feel free to go on our website and join us for the rest of the talks. You know, so there's one at 2 p.m. today, and then that's Angelica Network, and then tomorrow at 12, sorry, and at 2 again we'll be hearing from the 4 artists. yeah, who are going to share bits and pieces about the practice, and maybe they're going to talk about the things that they've experienced as well, and give us a little bit of advice for anybody who's looking for it. And yes, not exclusively for mature female artists, but that's the kind of people who are going to be speaking. So looking forward to hearing from them all. I'm getting loads of great comments. Kathy might unmute everybody, will you, Kathy?
Yeah, I've
Cool. Everybody's right, very good. Thank you for all your lovely comments. And yes, sign up to our mailing list. Don't forget to sign up to our mailing list on our website and keep in touch with us, and we'll keep in touch with you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks.